decision for the Pistons and firing Monty Williams. So as you guys know, the Pistons they are notorious. Well, not really notorious. They're more infamous this season for having one of the worst records in the NBA amongst teams in the Eastern Conference. Because I say teams because the Wizards they're like right there in being terrible amongst the Eastern Conference teams. But yes, the Pistons they were arguably the worst team in the NBA this year. Again, arguably because the Wizards are an extremely close second, and the Wizards they were only one game apart from being the exact same record as the Pistons. The biggest difference is that the Pistons lost a record 28 straight games in a row, and it took them about almost like a month or two to win one game. It was really bad, and it was like a horrible time to be a Pistons fan. Everyone was just chanting. Everyone in the Pistons stands was chanting "Sell the team." Everyone was like, the prices for the Pistons games they were so low because nobody wanted to even go to those games. It was just pain and misery all the way through. And on top of that, you had to deal with if you were a Pistons fan, you had to deal with Monty Williams, and you had to deal with the fact that the organization was giving Monty Williams that much money to essentially just throw the franchise. Because his going from finals appearance to worst record in most consecutive losses in NBA history, it's not a good way to go out. And I think it's really unfortunate for the Pistons that on top of the team being really bad, they had a really incompetent coach. But then again, usually the coach's mindset and the coach's his methods, they reflect on the players and their ability to play and their ability to hoop. So that might also be part of it. But according to Woj, the Pistons they're now going to make a head coaching change. Monty was again, like I said before, he was only one season into his 6-year, $785 million contract. So they essentially paid him 60 something million to do absolutely nothing. Now they have to find. Now this could probably set back the Pistons for a while, and he coached the Suns for a relatively long time, and the Suns were very, very, not very successful, but they were definitely doing much better under his coaching, staff, and under his up until he met Luka Doncic in the postseason, they were doing pretty well, and then obviously he met Luka Doncic in the postseason, and they got absolutely owned at home, which was the biggest reason why he was fired. And we see this happening with a lot of the coaches now. A lot of the coaches are getting fired the second they can't win a championship given the situation that they're in. We see it happen with Doc Rivers all the time. You guys know I'm going to pick on him. We saw it recently happen with Darvin Ham, and we see it with Monty. We also saw it with Dwayne Casey when he was with the Raptors, and I believe he won Coach of the Year in yes he I believe he won he won Coach of the Year in 2018. And despite winning Coach of the Year, he got swept in the second round again by the Cavs, and that caused the Toronto Raptors to fire him. But there is some context to that. There is a little bit of context that you have to think about. Some of the context is that, that team and the Raptors, they were the best team in the Eastern Conference, and it's like, they just could never really get it done against LeBron. It was literally only LeBron that they struggled against, and once LeBron had a weak team, it seemed like this was their chance to finally beat LeBron in the series, and they didn't do it. And because of that, the head coach was fired. And it doesn't help that, immediately after they get a new head coach and a new player, and they immediately win their first ever championship as a franchise. So we see this trend, it happens like, a lot that if you're not successful in any way, shape, or form, that you just immediately get fired as a coach. But to be fair, on well, not really to be fair, sort of to be understandable, Monty Williams and his rotation with the Pistons, they were absolutely horrible. They were arguably one of the worst things that came out of that coaching experience. The rotations. Now, excuse me. The Pistons, they opened the season losing 36 of their first 39 games, which is horrible. And this set a new single season record, which entered, as most consecutive losses in a row. And this is absolutely horrible. And this is the worst winning percentage by an organization in this is the worst winning percentage by the organization in its 76-year history. And on top of that, to make matters worse, they didn't even get the number one pick in the draft. Again, this was the second time in a row that they've gotten the fifth pick in the draft after having the worst record in the NBA. And it really shows that, in the NBA, you can't really afford to tank, because maybe tanking doesn't even work out for you in the end. The Pistons, they parted ways with Weaver earlier this offseason, replacing him with the new head of basketball operations, Trajan Langdon. Since Langdon's hiring, multiple reports indicated that the new president would be given free rein to make a head coaching change, despite the 650 plus 600 no not 600 65 million guaranteed in money left on Williams' deal. According to both Vince and Goodwill of Yahoo Sports, James L. Edwards of Athletic, Gores made the final call on Williams within the last 24 hours. Langdon informed the veteran coach of the decision on Wednesday. Those reports don't explicitly state whether or not Langdon recommended a change to Gores. Still, either way, the new top front office executive in Detroit now has the opportunity to bring his own head coach for 2024 and 2025 and going into the future. So those are just, a little bit of extra details that, that should be noted with the rights on the coach and why, they were able to fire him despite the fact that they were that he was still going to be that he still had several other years under his contract. Now, the Pistons, they're going to join the Lakers and Cavs as teams seeking a new head coach, despite the fact that I did mention previously before that it seems like, JJ Redick is going to be the Lakers head coach. It's not officially confirmed by Woj yet. It was more so like it was leaked information. So there is still a verdict, but it's highly, highly likely that JJ Redick is going to be the next head coach. Highly likely. I'm just going to say that off the bat. Now, the Pistons, they will so essentially they'll be joining the Cavs in seeking a new head coach. While those clubs, they've been conducting the searches for several weeks, Detroit is going to get a relatively late start compared to those other two teams when they were able to choose a coach. So we'll see what sort of timeline the team has in mind for making a hire. The draft is just 1 week away, while the Las Vegas summer schedule will get underway in July 12th. I might talk a little bit about the Summer League as well, depending on how popular actually, you know what? It's probably going to be pretty popular because Bronny's going to be in there. I'll definitely talk a little bit about Bronny if he does play in the Summer League. If he even gets drafted, we still have to see. Some of the candidates under consideration for the jobs in Los Angeles and Cleveland figured to be on the Pistons' radar. According to Goodwill, one notable name to watch is Pelicans associate head coach James Borrego, who is viewed as a legitimate contender for both the Lakers and the Cavs. Again, I have a feeling that the Lakers have already picked JJ Redick, and according to a tweet that came out, definitely it's more or less at least confirmed to those reports that he's going to definitely be the head coach of the Lakers. But again, Woj did not confirm it yet, so I guess you can merely say, I guess you could say that there are more speculations, but I really trust this source, and we'll just have to wait to see until it's completely till it's official. Now, let's go right ahead and get into the rest of the article. It's unclear whether Williams will become a contender for either of the NBA's other head coaching vacancies. So any of the other teams that need a head coach, it's not entirely certain if he's going to, assume the role of that head coaching position. I don't really see him as being a good coach for the Cavs. And, even if since we were talking about the Lakers, even if the Lakers were still searching for a coach, I don't see him as a good coach for the Lakers either. But, that's just me. Maybe that's just a little bit of the recency bias and the fact that the Pistons also aren't a relatively good team. It might also be clouding my judgment of how good this of a coach he actually is. But judging off of his rotations, no thanks. Now, with that out of the way, we can go right ahead and go into the second segment where we are going to be talking about Pascal Siakam. He's expected to sign an extension or a max contract with the Pacers. I'll go over the exact details of the contract after this break, so be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody